Are you fist fucking me with this shit? It starts with Michael Bay making our Transformers gay. TMNT was so lame. Fuck Megan Fox, you say. Tom Cruise don't die, you and Scarlett go through time to save all the slaves from Magneto and that racist guy in Godzilla, Wolverine, or fucking Brian Snick, Angelina Jolie, and that Disney rape scene. So you think what we spout isn't safe for your work, you just got a taste, but I almost forgot. Fuck yourselves, iTunes, it's the end of the world movie reviews. It's the end of the world movie reviews. It's the end of the world movie reviews with Jason and Andrew. This is the End of the World Movie Reviews podcast. You're welcome.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew.
Hey, I'm Jason, and welcome to the End of the World Movie Reviews podcast.
Yeah, this week we're doing Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, the edge.
The edge of my wiener.
Yeah, the edge of everything. The edge of anticipation.
The edge of your mom.
Yeah, I mean, like, the edge of Emily Blunt.
Yeah, I mean...
The edge is blunt.
The blunt edge. God, we're so funny. What about just the edge? How do we lure him, Jason?
Maybe that's what we should have reviewed this week, was the edge.
Right, I mean, Anthony Hopkins fights a bear. That's fucking amazing.
What if Tom Cruise showed up
and fought
in
a
the
bear?
middle of that? Fought Alec Baldwin and...
Well, I would actually imagine that Tom Cruise would show up and make love to Alec Baldwin, and then together they would fight the bear. Say it! I'm gonna kill the bear!
I'm gonna kill the bear!
Because today, I'm gonna kill the motherfucker. God, that's a great... Let's actually pause this podcast and go...
Yeah, I think we're just going to go watch The Edge for a little bit
Yeah.
in honor of our Tim Kefales' birthday.
It is Tim Kefales' birthday and he loves The Edge.
Yeah, he's also our enemy, lifelong enemy. So, I mean, it's kind of like, we kind of have the same relationship that we have with Tim, is the same relationship that Alec Baldwin has with Anthony Hopkins.
And we're getting into some deep shit right now.
Yeah, this might be some philosophical, psychological... deep analysis that we're doing today, but
I mean, the only deep analysis I want to do is of your mom.
That's the second time already this podcast. So,
well, I mean, we were talking about Emily Blunt and edges and things, and like it just got away from us a little bit, Jason. That's all. But I mean, deep analysis of somebody's vagina for sure. So let's not get sidetracked.
Yeah. So,
but before we do, like, you know, rest in peace, Bart the Bear, since we're on the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Bart the Bear is kind of like Jesus. He died for our sins by entertaining us in films because he was a fucking bear.
He was pretty badass.
Yeah. Anyway, Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, you know, we didn't do an episode last week because the Christmas party at work pretty much destroyed me and everyone I know.
Yeah, just to, you know, I want to just fill you in, people. I know what you're saying right now. The Christmas party... am I not listening to this podcast in June?
See, you're just such a hater. Some people work a lot, and we have to have a Christmas party in the summertime.
6 months.
I mean, things are happening. Bars are opening. Restaurants are opening. People are buying things from us. It's busy time. It's a busy time.
Like, January is a slow month.
Well, I mean, to be fair, my boss had to hire some girl to plan the party for some reason because we can't just send out text messages. I don't know.
You can't just say, like, we're getting together today.
Yeah, anyway,
to be perfectly clear, we've probably had... I've seen Will at least, like, 3 parties, and...
Well, yeah.
Like...
I mean, you're not making any sense, because obviously you don't understand this situation.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, you know, it was a Running with the Bulls party, and we all dressed up in white clothing and drank a bunch of sangria. There was a mechanical bull. I don't know if you've ever seen a Jewish person on a mechanical bull, but it's pretty awesome.
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Things were good.
There was a mechanical bull. It's a Christmas party.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just like to party, bud. So, you know, we rode the bull, and pretty much the party just degenerates into, like, 40 people just spitting wine on each other. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I would just go and dip my face in this, and it was in a mop bucket. That's the best part. That's why it's a Christmas party, because we get new mop buckets for Christmas in June. So I get a mop bucket that works. See, I just dip my face in this thing, like, you know, I dip my face in Jason's mom. That's 3 in, like, 5 minutes. I'm on a roll. And I just spit wine on everybody I see, which is why we wear white clothes. And I'm talking about, like, people's boyfriends and girlfriends that I've never met before. I just walk up and be like, how you doing? But instead of semen like it would usually be, it was just red wine. So, I mean, that party slayed about 40 to 60 people that showed up.
It slayed them.
It slayed them.
Yeah.
Like, literally the next day, I had to scrape my face off my pillow because I was just so full of red wine and shame and various other substances that were just stuck to my body, which is pretty usual for me, I guess. Me and old James Starring from the Mega Power Hour, we were up till 7:30 in the morning wandering around the streets. I'm not pretty sure what happened.
I wasn't invited to this. I just want to make that clear to our listeners.
I mean, it was a family affair.
I get it.
It was a family affair.
I get it. I'm not family.
You're not part of the family, bud.
I don't work there. That's for sure.
But anyway, after that, like, the only thing I could do for 7 days was just lay face down in the shower with my ass up, just hoping for something magical to happen with some hot water running over it. Just shame.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a great way to spend a Sunday. It was a Sunday evening?
It was a Sunday evening, yeah.
Yeah.
Into a Monday morning, into a 6-day workathon for me, so.
Yeah. So I, on the other hand, I mean, I just work. That's a thing that happens, but last Tuesday I actually saw 4 movies in one day, which is actually a rare feat for me anymore, because I, don't like movies anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have this podcast, and so I actually have a reason to watch things now. But I went to the theater with my mom, not with Andrew was not there
I'm well acquainted with Jason's mom.
Just embarrass my mom. But
your mom loves me.
We went to go see Chef, the new movie with Jon Favreau. And that one is, I mean, long story short, it's a fun movie. It isn't really, I mean, it's not based in any world of reality. And that's actually, like, when I think of Jon Favreau, like, Swingers and Made, like, those movies are, like, they're somewhat based in some reality. Sure. But that was, like, when he was, like, not Hollywood didn't have a wiener inside him, like Hollywood is.
Yeah, so like, would you say the wiener?
Like he was the wiener was slapping his face, and he was getting a little like
was it slapping his face? Just raw? Was the wiener reenacting that scene from Reservoir Dogs where it cuts his ear off, but with his wiener mouth?
I don't think so, but when he was younger, I think he was more rooted in like the world around him. And now, like, they just think you can do amazing things with Twitter and Facebook. Like, if I tweet...
I'm still not sure what a Twitter is.
Yeah, if I tweet and Facebook this podcast, for example, we will immediately have 1,200 followers. That's a thing that actually happened in this movie.
As opposed to the 12 that we got going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks to the extra 4 people that listened this week.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But
would you say that wiener inside of him is kind of like that tentacle from... that one Futurama movie? It's a gentacle, just like moving him around, making him do stuff.
It might very well be.
Yeah, just wieners. Yeah. And wieners are pretty much in everybody in my universe, to be fair.
In your universe?
Yeah, every person
every person is like activated.
Activated by the wiener inserted inside of them, yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. So that was Chef. It's a good flick. I'd go see it. If you're looking for something a little more positive.
I'm not looking for positive.
At the end of the day, it was better than Days of Future Past. That's kind of like the bar that I'm setting for everything right now.
Oh my god!
But and then I went to see Edge of Tomorrow, so we'll talk about that. I'm going to reserve that.
Yeah.
So then I went home, and I needed to see something good. Like, not that Edge of Tomorrow was bad, but I'm like, it's good for like today's standards.
Sure.
Whereas I wanted to see like a good classic, so I watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Which is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
God, you have such a boner for Limu Bai.
The movie is so fucking good.
Boner.
It's unbelievable. Like, why can't they just make a movie? Oh yeah, and I'm gonna bring this up later about this is actually a question that I got. So this will come with our questions later.
Okay. Yeah.
I just realized I had a question asked to me.
I know we finally got questions, everybody. Questions.
They're all from the same person,
of course. Yeah.
So, and then I watched Vanilla Sky in honor of Tom Cruise, because Vanilla Sky is actually one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies, which we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Cameron Diaz did swallow his cum.
Yeah, well, and she died. Yeah. She killed herself because of it. Actually, that's how bad it was.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all that Scientology.
Yeah.
Stuff. I mean, he was acting, so he wasn't really a Scientologist in that movie.
I mean, Tom, you just got to come out the closet. And then Tom's in the closet.
Yeah, that's a good reference. That's like double-edged reference.
I know.
Because I feel like we could probably watch R. Kelly.
I mean, you just said double edge of tomorrow on my wiener.
God.
God, that'd be great.
Yeah, that was triple.
God,
It's
we're
like
doing so good today.
like
anyway, before we get too sidetracked, let's get into this.
Yeah,
this fucking movie.
So that's what my life is like. I gotta have a day off and watch 4 movies, which is basically what everybody that listens to this podcast does every day because they clearly don't have a job or anything to do.
I mean, that's an intense white person activity for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
Right.
All right, so let's get into it here. We're going to talk about The Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Before we start, I have to let a really annoying dog out of the room.
Yeah. Just to talk about dogs for a second while Andrew's standing. I don't care for them much. I think they're intimidated by my beard. That's always been a problem.
Yeah. Your beard, huh? Is it because bugs randomly fall out of your beard sometimes?
I think it's just because I think dogs just think I'm a large dog. And so they're intimidated by me.
You're like the Shaggy dog, but you work at a comic book store. That makes perfect sense to me.
All right, now we're going to talk about The Edge of Tomorrow because Andrew sat back down.
Yeah, we're good,
And he's holding a microphone like...
I'm aiming my microphone at Jason's face.
Yeah. So...
There's another dog
just running around. Just trying to do stuff. All right, well... Let's talk about The Edge of Tomorrow here. Who's responsible for The Edge of Tomorrow?
Oh, directed by Doug Liman. He's some guy that did some movies. He directed Swingers, I think. You sell money, baby. You don't even know it.
That's John Favreau's first script.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
He's also in that movie as well.
What else we got here? We got Jumper. It was that movie with Samuel Jackson had a lightning spear and he chased teleporting kids around.
Anakin Skywalker and Nick Fury.
Was that Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah, Hayden
I just kind of tried to blink him out of my life. He never existed.
It's his last movie.
Well, there's a reason.
I don't know if it's his last movie.
There's a reason for that. Now he actually just he's a fluffer for gay porn now.
He might be.
He just sucks the wieners that are inside everybody in my universe to keep him hard. That's a fucking important job, dude. It's a lot of work keeping all those wieners erect all the time. Because, Hollywood certainly isn't going to do it.
Yeah, well, whatever. He's gotten closer to Natalie Portman than I ever will in my life.
Yeah,
so.
I guess there's that. She did say thank you a lot in that one movie where she was a stripper.
God, Clive Owen's genius.
I know. And then there's the First Born Identity movie.
Yeah, so the First Born Identity movie is actually pretty good. And it's probably one of the most important movies made in the last 10. Well, it's not even 10 years now. It's actually old as shit. It's like 12 years.
Sure.
But he took the film stylings of a guy named Steven Spielberg. They filmed Saving Private Ryan. They used a lot of like half shutter and crazy.
Side question, not to interrupt you. How much would you pay to suck Steven Spielberg's penis? Like what about if you just put the tip like near your lip?
I mean, this to be perfectly clear, I like George Lucas more than Steven Spielberg.
Which is a shame.
But everybody marches to the theme of George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg.
Okay, what if he took his wiener and started at your forehead and just slowly moved it down, dragging it across your face? How much would you pay for that?
I mean, the price cannot be... I don't think you can have a price on that kind of stuff.
That would be your Christmas Disney wish?
I mean, that would be my Christmas party for sure.
When you wish upon a star.
So anyways, Steven Spielberg.
Oh my God.
I'm just going to say, Saving Private Ryan.
It's a good movie.
But that set a trend and kind of influenced other people. But the Bourne Identity kind of picks that up. And then it like accentuates it to the point that you have either action movies that look good like kung fu movies and such, which is like in the style of Star Wars or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or where like the camera's back, you can actually watch shit.
Sure.
Or you have the Bourne Identity where you can't actually see anything because the camera's so close, but they're doing martial arts, and it's the actual actor. So actually, like, because Matt Damon's obviously not good at anything.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, but it's a very influential film style. So much so it was used in all the Dark Knight movies, which are terrible. So,
I mean,
as far as visual, like the fights in those movies are awful. Like I don't care what anybody says. You mark it down.
All right.
It's not good action.
We're running out of time. I'm not even going to argue with you about it.
But anyways, so Edge of Tomorrow, that's Doug Liman. He's going to bring that vision to this film, and even though there's like really cool CGI, so like, but what's going to happen is there might be like aliens and shit in there, and you can't even see them. So like that's literally like this is the stamp that Doug Liman has put on this movie.
Right. Not the stamp that Steven Spielberg is going to put on Jason's forehead,
Which
which is a mushroom stamp. Yes, correct.
He is Jewish, so
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I could just put my wiener on your forehead, and you can pretend it's Spielberg.
I mean, you got a beard, you got gray hair.
Just be like, shh, don't talk, don't talk, just let it happen. Shh, it's okay.
Who wrote the movie, Andrew?
Oh, this other fucking guy. I can't even pronounce his name. Christopher McQuarrie? Yeah, Christopher McQuarrie. He's actually not terrible. He's written some pretty good stuff, including Way of the Gun, one of my fucking favorite movies of all time. And what else we got?
Well, he did The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, there is. I mean, someone might have said that was a good movie.
Those are the two best movies he's done.
Yeah, other movies are actually other Tom Cruise movies. Valkyrie, the one about Nazis, don't care. Jack Reacher, unwatchable.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean, I get it.
I turned it off after it was unwatchable.
Yeah,
he's serious business, Jason.
Did you write The Tourist?
Yeah. Oh, you know how much I love Angelina Jolie. We just talked about her last time.
That movie's not good.
No.
So
I mean, well, Johnny Depp didn't have goth makeup on, so obviously
he wasn't playing Jack Sparrow either.
No. Yeah. Would Jack Sparrow be your second wiener drag?
Yeah. Well, the thing about Christopher McQuarrie is he wrote Usual Suspects is a young, promising script. Like, it's very clever. It's really well done. Obviously, everybody in that movie, their career took off. Like Kevin Spacey, the director, Bryan Singer. God, all these references, all these things are going on.
I know, we just talked about.
And then they all are just terrible later on in their lives. Well, Kevin Spacey's still badass, but
in their defense, I've been terrible my whole life.
Right. So I mean, you never took off.
No.
So we're taking off in this podcast.
Your mom might have taken off once or twice. God, I'm doing so good today.
What does that even mean? Like, she retired from work? She took the day off?
Probably involved one of the millions of wieners in my universe.
I just don't understand what it has to do with your wiener. But anyways, Christopher McQuarrie, Way of the Gun is actually, if you've never seen this movie, and we might not ever have another opportunity to talk about it, so I want to talk about it.
It's a great fucking movie.
Way of the Gun, Ryan Philippe and Benicio del Toro are basically, they're two criminal, they hang out.
They're just dudes doing shit.
Their names are actually... They're like the characters from... The names are from fucking Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
But they never call them like anything other than that. It's an incredible movie. It's a crime movie, but the script is so fucking good. Like, the way they talk, what they say, it's genius level. But what's better than that is the commentary track. I don't know if you ever watched it, but Christopher McQuarrie's commentary track, he actually directed that movie. And he literally just talks about how he just fucked up the whole movie or whatever, but I think he also made a comment like, this might be the best thing I ever do for the rest of my life. So congratulations.
Yeah.
It's mostly come true. Because none of his scripts have been really exciting since then. Valkyrie, I mean, Jack Reacher's a pretty...
unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the rest of the movie. I've seen the rest of it, and it's kind of meh. I'm trying to figure out what was unwatchable about it the first 10 minutes. Was there like a woman that got raped or something?
I'll watch that all day. I don't care about that. Just the dialogue. Like, he said something really serious, and I was just, I was out immediately. Okay. I just hit escape on whatever I was watching on.
Yeah. So, which I guess that brings us to, full circle to, this is a Tom Cruise movie. And Tom Cruise, I mean, he's
been coming back in a hard way.
I don't know why Tom Cruise...
wiener joke. Come on.
I don't know why Tom Cruise isn't in The Expendables. That's how good Tom Cruise is.
I mean, I actually kind of agree with that. Tom Cruise should be in The Expendables.
He's made literally 40 movies or so, which isn't really a lot when you think about it. But every one of them is like, you have to probably go see this movie. It's usually released in a time of year where it demands viewing, and I mean, he just carries the movie. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, and he's not really an actor. Like, he doesn't really perform a character as much anymore. He's kind of become Tom Cruise.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But I don't think, we all know Tom Cruise isn't that way anymore. That's why I actually like watching Tom Cruise movies, because Tom Cruise is a crazy Scientologist motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, I think at this point we have to realize, his movies are great. He's good to watch, and you always root for it. You can always get behind him, except for the case of Andrew with Jack Reacher.
I mean, stop shaking your head at me. I'm allowed to. You hate stuff irrationally all the time.
I don't walk out of... whatever. All right. Moving on.
Come on.
And Emily Blunt's in this movie too.
Yeah, I'm a big Emily Blunt fan.
Emily Blunt she's pretty stacked. Like she's a hot human body. She's British. She's British or no, Australian?
They're the same.
That's true. I mean, they're Australians are British criminals basically.
Right. And there's soccer going on, so I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's been in some good movies like that Sunshine Cleaning Company. I think was pretty good. And then she was in some bad movies with Matt Damon, like the Adjustment Bureau. And I'm like, why the fuck are you in this movie?
Why was it anybody in the Adjustment
Matt Damon,
Bureau?
what are you doing?
But Emily Blunt she's a great actress. You always believe her, and you always get behind her, and
I'll get behind her right now.
And she's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good. So lead up to this movie. The other thing that's important to know is it's based on a Japanese thing, a Japanese manga called All You Need Is Kill.
Right.
And so clearly, in the theme of everything, like we have no more original ideas.
Yeah. Clearly, Japanese people love Bill Murray.
Yeah, I mean, really, the best things that are good are Japanese anymore.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can tell you one thing about Japanese mangas. There's definitely millions of wieners doing stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also kind of like, Pacific Rim last year, which, like I said, we were happy it was original, but,
yeah.
I mean, really, it's just ripping off Japanese stuff, so.
For sure. But, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about Edge of Tomorrow. Like, I was pretty pleased with most everything in the movie, which I don't say a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you might not have ever said that.
Yeah,
it's the time I've known you.
That's true. I am a classic hater of everything. But yeah, I mean, like, putting in the groundhog gimmick in this story was pretty brilliant because it's almost like an infallible gimmick.
Right. There's no, like, as long as, like, that's the rule.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, I get this rule. Like, every time he dies.
Yeah. Which is entertaining because they can make it, like, they can lighten it up even though there's a lot of violence happening because it's like, oh, it's funny, he's waking up again and he has to go through the thing again.
Yeah. But it's interesting because, I mean, you would think, like, normally with a movie like this where there's, like, looping time kind of shit, you're always picking apart how terrible the time travel is. Not that we've done that recently or anything.
Right.
But this doesn't have that problem. Like, I can't actually sit down and go, this doesn't make any fucking sense because of this or that.
Well, it's not technically
the ending probably doesn't make any sense, but
we'll that's the part about that is, like, the movie itself is extremely predictable because it follows a very specific, like, template that's already been done. But I mean, I can ignore that because what's happening, what I'm seeing, is entertaining enough.
Yeah. But okay, so I guess, I like the movie too. It was enjoyable. There were some things in it that, you have the Bill Paxton character, and
but I mean, Bill Paxton is the only guy ever to be killed by the Predator, the Terminator, and the Alien. That's pretty fucking awesome, dude.
He just dropped some science on me.
Yeah.
I haven't even considered that. Was he ever killed by a Mormon on that Mormon show either? Or I don't know if he died at the end.
I don't know if I ever watched that show.
None of us watched that show because
your brother watched that show.
Kevin loves Big Love, like no doubt.
Which is funny because
he's followed the career of every one of the women involved in that show.
Nice.
Like, for some reason.
He followed their career, like, with his pants down, with the door locked?
No, Kevin doesn't do things with the door locked.
Oh, so he just masturbates with his door open?
Yeah, I mean, it's just certain hours of the day.
That's fair.
But, where was I? I was trying to talk about...
Bill Paxton, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bill Paxton in there. So, I mean, there's some good stuff. Just to get into, like, complaints that I have about the movie, or just Hollywood in general...
Yeah.
Once again, it had it's PG-13. There's just an awful war going on.
Loads of violence.
There's loads of violence.
No consequence for death.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But what's interesting about it is the video game. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's what this movie is. It's actually, like, if you like video games and you die, if you're bad at video games like I am, and you die over and over and over, like, and you're literally playing the game the way Cage, we're going to call him by his character name, that's how his character is basically playing this movie.
Yeah.
Is he's just like, he dies all the time and comes back and he's just like, well, maybe I'll try this or maybe I'll try that.
Not to mention, one of the first things we see is Emily Blunt, hot as shit in this giant mech suit, and she's holding the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And then she just gets after it.
Great reference.
Yeah.
Great reference.
Like, I literally almost shot a load when she picked up that sword. I'm like, no kidding.
Well, and then every time you see her every day, she's in like she's doing a yoga spinal.
Yeah, she's
like,
doing
curve.
this immaculate like push-up handstand.
Just
thing.
so you know, if you know anything about DDP yoga, it's called the Cobra position.
I have DDP yoga in my room right now.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's Cobra.
The Cobra.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible for your back.
Yeah, I mean that Cobra the movie is also pretty incredible with Stallone.
Nice,
but there's that.
But the violence, like, there's just no blood, and it's kind of like, where's the consequence or whatever. Now, I mean, I did talk about this a little bit with Kevin, my brother, because he actually liked this movie so much he saw it twice.
Wow,
and
Kevin
he actually
everything.
hates everything.
He hates more stuff than we do.
Yeah, so he saw this twice. He said it was actually good. I was trying to tell him some stuff was bad, and he was like, "That's not true," except for the ending. He didn't like the ending, which I agree with. But Tom Cruise. What was that? The violence thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's never any consequence for it. But I guess, like, the beauty of it is, like, he dies right away and you don't have to see him bleed out and die.
Right.
So, like, I mean, basically, like, the way the rules are set up, they do a good job of not showing any of that.
Sure.
Blood.
Except for the first time. I think the first time, like, it's actually good that we have to watch him suffer a little bit because he has to pull out that claymore and kill the alien, which ultimately gives him his power. Spoilers. And like, he blows off part of his face. He's like breathing really hard and suffering, and then he's just dead.
Yeah, but he gets the goo on him.
Yeah, he gets the
alpha
alien blood and gets the time resetting power, which makes perfect sense when they explain it later. Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta reset the day.
Right.
But I'll reset the day with you.
I'll reset anything with you, Jason.
So I don't know, the violence thing, I still have a problem with it not being...
Yeah, I would have appreciated, like, if there would have been a little more, like seeing him suffer. Like, you literally have to die every day. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. Like, at one point he has to drown himself. You know, usually, like, Emily Blunt just shoots him in the head, but, like, if we could have seen just a little more, like, he really is suffering, which is leading to his character change, but, like, they just kind of skip that because the movie's pretty fast-paced, and they gotta fit in a bunch of blowing up crap.
Yeah. One of the things I did like is they kind of, you know, they would show them reset the day a lot.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't show them reset the day a lot. But it's like, yeah, this is actually the 500th time I've done it. So you're just like, you at this point get it.
Yeah, just like in Groundhog Day, we assume that he's done this a jillion times.
Yeah, and at this point you're like, okay, we've taken this for granted. So I like that, you know, because this movie's further progress, like as cinema has progressed.
Right.
Audiences apparently are getting dumber, or at least that's Hollywood's perception.
Yeah.
And so they try to treat us like we're idiots. But that's one thing this movie didn't do as much of.
Right.
I felt.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But one of the problems was, why did she not just immediately kill Tom Cruise after he got the information from Brandon Gleeson, or not from Brandon Gleeson, but, you know, he injects himself with the thing,
right,
and then gets the information,
right.
And then they like are in a car chase for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like, why didn't she just immediately like, no, we got to reset the day. You got the information we need. Instead, what happened?
Right,
he gets captured and blooded out, and
right.
I know at some point they needed to make it.
Well, that's why the plot's so predictable, because we know at some point he has to go it like without the resetting power. He's got one shot to save the world.
Yeah, but like I would like to have seen like if that was going to happen.
Right.
Like it'd be a little more believable, because I mean Emily Blunt will just literally shoot him if he like sprains a finger.
Yeah. Like,
it's true. I mean, she doesn't care. She still doesn't know this guy.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's what's so great about that character is like every day.
Right.
She has to start the day going like, I've never heard of you.
Mm-hmm.
To going like, okay, I have to kill you whenever.
Meanwhile, Tom Cruise has hung out with her for like 1,000 days, and he's just in love with her.
He's in love with her.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not?
I mean, you try and save her life every day, and you fail, and you just want to spend time with her.
Yeah.
Learn that her middle name is Rose, and touch her no parts.
Yeah.
You think Tom Cruise ever followed her after she died? Before he suicided, like he just might have copped a feel real fast and shot himself?
Are you getting into necrophilia here?
I mean, you're resetting the day. It doesn't count if it never happened, technically.
That's a dark place for this movie to go. That's what your version of this movie would look like?
I don't know about my version, but maybe like some deleted scenes. He's just fucking taking it to her dead corpse on the battlefield, and then he kills himself and resets the day and gets going again.
I kind of want to go read the manga now to find out if that happens. Because that's like something a fucked up Japanese writer would do, actually.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a Japanese movie.
Right.
So,
Yeah, things I liked. I really liked that the love story wasn't the main focal point of the film for a change. And also, like, the gimmick, which is why the gimmick is so good, is, like, we don't ever really need to see them develop their relationship because, number one, she doesn't develop a relationship with him at all because he keeps resetting the day. But we just immediately get to accept that he has spent so much time with her that he loves her. That it just makes sense to me. She's a beautiful woman. Like, they're in a tense situation. He does it day in and day out, over and over and over again. So, yeah, he loves her, and I just accept that, and I'm fine with it. And when he's motivated by those feelings, then that's fine. But, like, what I really liked about it is the fact that, like, at one point in the movie, he just says, fuck this, and he just goes by himself. He doesn't even, like, go introduce himself to her. He just goes it alone to try and just save the day because he just can't handle it anymore. Whereas, like, they could have gone the really sappy route where he has to sacrifice himself to save her, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple things there where, you know, like, I kind of wish it was a little more like Groundhog Day where we really get to see him go through his phases.
Right.
Of going, like, oh, man, I can really take advantage of this gimmick. Yeah. And then going, like, I'm being kind of pumped about it.
Right.
And then going through just the absolute desperation, depression.
Yeah.
Like when he drives off the cliff with the gopher.
Yeah, he just kills himself like 25 times.
Yeah, and he's just like, motherfucker.
He just tries to manipulate everybody into fucking him. He eats like 50 donuts because he doesn't care.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I mean, I guess we kind of get that one scene where he goes to the pub.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it, I can't die today. I'm just going to go drink a beer and then I'll shoot myself later.
Right.
This is fucked up, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that, but I mean, really, you can't. That's just nitpicking at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you're just supposed to be, thank God, Hollywood churned out a movie that's at least watchable.
Right. No, I thought the movie looked really good. I really liked that the aliens looked pretty cool. I went and saw this movie with Yardstill Greg, and he pointed out that they kind of looked like the Squiddies from The Matrix, which I agree. But, I mean, they looked kind of more like if the Squiddies were dogs, sort of. Which, at least they didn't just look like those big-headed, giant-eyed aliens, you know. I'm sick of those.
Like, it was cool that they looked like dog things. Like, they definitely had the typical, like, oh, there's 3 kinds of this alien, or they're like, you have these ones, and then you have the alpha, and then there's this fucking giant orb or whatever.
Well, don't get me wrong, it's definitely also lazy because, like, the way they're designed and how fast they move, like, they're really hard to see, so you can fudge the CG without a lot of detail because they're just moving around a lot.
Well, that's also the camera work, too.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I hated the way the Omega looked. I'm like, really, it just looks like
a giant blue dog guy.
I mean, no, that's what the alpha looks like.
Oh, you're talking about the Omega.
The Omega, like the king monster alien.
It looked like a giant vagina.
It did, yeah, with a big ball popping out of it. And I'm like, cool.
And that's what a vagina looks like. There's like a little ball that like centers up above it.
Yeah, you gotta flick it.
Yeah. I stopped watching porn a long time ago, so I don't know.
Except in Tom Cruise's case, he has to throw a grenade at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the ending just super briefly because spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He like goes down and he launches a grenade at the thing. That's fine. Like a grenade's gonna fuck, I guess, this thing up. This like omnipotent, omniscient. He
throws like 6 grenades at it. To be fair.
Yeah. He throws a bunch of shit at it.
Yeah. I mean, if you throw 6 grenades into a vagina, it's probably gonna blow the vagina up.
Yeah. So he dies, right, and then the movie should have just had them die. I think that might have been a better ending.
Oh, I think like this would have been a great movie for death of the protagonist. It's a beautiful thing when that has happened, when that is done correctly, in my opinion.
And I think that would have been fine here. Because he's been dying every day, wouldn't it be nice for his death to finally mean something? That would be poetic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But instead he comes back, and then he comes back like not at the point where he keeps coming back.
Right.
But he comes back like
the day before.
I think, or it's like earlier in the day. It's still very vague about when that happened, but whatever it is, I don't know why he just didn't come back at the time when...
I mean, I think they're trying to make us accept it, like, since he got the Omega... Alright, so the premise is he kills this alpha creature, and he gets the blood in him, which gives him the time resetting power. So when he kills the Omega at the end, if you actually... People know what Alpha and Omega stand for. You can look it up if you're dumb, that's fine. But he gets the Omega blood on him, which then I guess he can... You reset the time further, but I don't know. They don't really explain it, but like that's kind of what I got the gist from.
What I would have liked to have seen is if that happened to him, then he permanently has the ability to reset all time and space.
Right.
And he would have had glowing eyes, and he would have become an anime character.
Sure.
And then that's where the movie ended. And you're just like, this next movie is going to be badass.
But instead they
because then they're going to have to kill Tom Cruise.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, how good of a movie would that be? Where he's the supervillain. And she, the love of his life...
Tom Cruise isn't a supervillain, man. He's an American saint.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't tell that to Frank T.J. Mackey.
Oh, Jesus. No, I mean, I agree with you about that, but I mean, they already set themselves down the predictable plot path. So, like, we already knew that something was going to happen and he was going to get to have one more shot to get her to get to know him. But what I would like to know is if he resetted all that stuff, technically she would still have her memories of when she had the power earlier. So he could just say to her, yeah, you told me to find you when I woke up. But maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mystery at this point.
We just don't know.
Maybe he loses that love.
Maybe. I mean, he was just so happy to see her because she was doing her Cobra.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Cobra, it's so good for your spine.
Yeah, I need to do some Cobras here, actually.
Yeah.
All over your face.
So, I don't know what kind of a rating. I mean, I actually like this movie, but it's not a 0.
No.
Like, it isn't perfect. It's not
Definitely
Indiana
not.
Jones. So.
I don't know. I know I've been giving out a lot of famines, but, like, I'm ready for more sci-fi movies that are like this. Like, honestly, this was a really fun sci-fi movie. Like, you got a bunch of famous people that are pretty running around in these cool fucking robot mech suits. They're blowing up a bunch of aliens, and, like, the story isn't actually awful for a fucking change. Like, I'm actually invested in watching what happens to these characters.
They were like Space Marines.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Like right out of StarCraft.
Don't get me wrong, we would never play Space Marines.
No. Way to go, Nathan Roper.
Yeah, we would never do that. But,
Dan DeLude.
Yeah, but you know what? They kind of made it look cool.
Yeah.
And at the same time, look terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it was like hard or something. But I mean, they are genetically engineered. Whatever. We're not going to get nitpicking.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it was kind of like Space Marines, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of see that on screen.
By Space Marines, you can also consider like StarCraft if anybody's played games. Like they just look cool in these mech suits, and there's a lot of awesome things that are happening on the screen. It's really, visually enticing, and just well organized. Like I really liked all the fucking extras on the army base and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though a lot of the movie takes place in like these nondescript trenches when they're running around, I mean, it still looks realistic. But so the point is like, I would just like to see more sci-fi movies that don't make me want to poke my eyes out. Like, the gimmick was good, the characters were good, and the action was great.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree. You're calling that famine?
Because
That's a 2.
I'm hungry for more.
That's 2 seals.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, our rating system still doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
We're going to talk about it more on the 7th episode, though.
Yeah.
I have plans.
You have plans.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What would you give this movie?
I don't think it's a 0, but it's like that it's that notch above. So it's like, what's 1? Is that like made me sick?
1 is but Pestilence also doubles as Conquest, so maybe we want to just maraud more movies like this.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like this movie to be. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like this movie did not do good. Like we're a week and a half out. We can actually say, as good as this movie was, as tolerable as it is.
That's because Tom Cruise thinks it's a true story because he's a Scientologist.
Oh yeah,
he thinks it actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about how it's Scientologist message in the movie. It's about perfecting yourself every day.
Well, yeah,
not through drugs or not through, like you're just doing it through the human condition. So I mean, that's like another scientist. Every one of Tom Cruise movies has Scientologist message in the last 10 years.
I'm too much of a Philistine to understand anything you just said.
I know. I fucking love Scientology. It's like the funniest thing on earth. But anyways, so my point is, yeah, I'd maraud. I'd like I'd like to have this movie do better. I wish this movie made more money than The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
Or
well, I mean, any movie about cancer is an automatic victory. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
October and your pink. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, you can only release movies about cancer in October.
Obviously.
New rule.
Okay.
That's my new rule.
That's fine. I just won't see any movies in October ever again.
What if it was a sci-fi about how cancer is actually an alien? And we have to fight it. Like,
can we have sex with it?
Well, then it turns into that, like, really... What was that movie with Adrian Brody where they have sex with the genetic thing that they make? Splice.
I don't actually want to talk about Adrian Brody because I'm still mad about The Pianist.
I was actually...
Like, I'm still mad about that movie, like,
they actually were showing Splice on television the other day, and I'm like, really? They're going to show this on television?
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I guess we can go with Conquest. We just want this movie to do better.
Yeah, and these types of movies do better.
Yeah, more sci-fi that's fun would, like, be a good thing, I think. It would introduce, like, a much-needed, like, I don't know, mix-up factor to the whole Hollywood formula, if that makes sense.
And thank you, Tom Cruise, for being 52 and still pulling off this action role.
And you know what?
Like, you look like you're 30.
Say what you will about Tom Cruise, man, but he's been in a lot of fucking awesome movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Top Gun, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, that's going to bring us to our next segment, actually, which is another segment of Jason and Andrew like stuff.
All right. What's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
My favorite Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
It's strangely enough, it's not one of his big action movies. My favorite one is The Color of Money.
It's a good one.
And the reason I like that one so much is just because it's him when he's really young, for one. And I mean, I grew up watching this movie. It's just a fucking great movie. Like, his character grows. Like, it's a fucking film. Like, nobody makes movies like this anymore. His character goes from being this, like, young, brash motherfucker who, like, doesn't know shit. Like, he wants to play. He saw Star Wars and is like, dude, in the future, if I'm good at video games, like, I might, be able to be good at stuff and things.
Right.
But instead, like, the only thing he's good at is playing pool, and Paul Newman transforms him into this pool-playing, pool shark machine.
I love Paul Newman.
And then by the end of the movie, they're dueling. Like, it's they're having a final duel. And it's just incredible. And they hate each other. Well, but it's respect. But
kind of like how we are.
But yeah, I mean, this is...
I hate Jason is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, don't be that way. But Color of Money, incredible movie. It's easily my favorite one of his, even though it's not like an action film or anything like that.
Right.
If I have a favorite action movie that he's done, Mission Impossible 1, by far. Sure. Came out when I was 16, 1996.
Oh, yeah.
The Carmike 10. I probably saw that movie 10 times. I went to see it. Mission Impossible is actually one of the coolest fucking movies. Like, if I watch it today, I'll still watch it and I'll still love it. But if you look at it, it's actually pretty...
Do you only like it because Emilio Estevez dies in like the first 15 minutes?
That's one of the best parts of the movie because we were kind of... I remember me and my friend going to see it and we were actually kind of sad.
Right.
Because we were really hoping for, like, witty banter between Tom Cruise and Emilio Estevez for a whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
But, I mean, obviously the premise of Mission Impossible was to, put the whole idea of the story on tilt. Like, they show you, like, this is what a typical mission is, and then you're like, well, this mission's completely fucked, and now we got to get out of it. It just has great stuff in it, though, but it's dated as shit, like, if you watch it now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think they talk about, like, do you have the new 586 computer or whatever to go hack stuff? You're just like, wow, this is kind of laughable, but it's still a fucking great movie. It has Jean Reno in it, the professional, who's a bad guy, flies a helicopter.
Yeah.
I had no idea who John Voight was when that movie came out.
John Voight's a son of a bitch.
I was 16 years old. I had no idea who John Voight was.
I mean, he was the bad guy in Anaconda.
He was many things.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was like one of the greatest actors of the 70s at the time.
Well, I mean, there's also that. But I mean, you just want to walk up to John Voight.
Seed.
You just want to walk up to John Voight and go, "I don't want your laugh." That was a Boston Blues reference.
I just want to watch Deliverance right now.
Oh.
But yeah, Mission Impossible. That was the movie, and that's actually the movie. Like, we already knew Tom Cruise is a badass. Like, I mean, 10 years before he did Top Gun. But I mean, at this point, like, this is the movie. Like, he's in his early 30s. He is officially a badass, and that's his franchise. Obviously, the Mission Impossible movies come out every time now. Ethan Hunt, great character.
Sure.
But that first movie is one of my favorites. I actually went to Prague with my choir.
Oh, God.
And so the first part of that movie...
Jason has an angelic voice, by the way.
Yeah, well, it goes without saying. Everybody who listens to the podcast knows how good I am.
It's all the semen that's been lubricating his throat for years.
Yeah.
Makes him sing like an angel.
Yeah, that's why I'm seeking the Spielberg seed.
Yeah.
Down to, it'll probably finish it
Unless
off.
you just wanted his seed to be crusted in your beard for all time. So you just have like a diamond hard beard full of jizz.
But when we're in Prague, like, I remember running around and, like, saying the package is out of pocket. Like, we all thought we were Tom Cruise. It was like, that's how, like, because we were 16, we were young kids at the time. We just thought it was the fucking most amazing thing.
Sure.
So thank you, Tom Cruise, for the movies you've made in my life.
Right.
And you still make movies in my life that are good. And I don't care you're a crazy Scientologist.
Yeah, I mean, we got over it, dude. You liked Katie, what's-her-face that one time, and stuff happened. At least you can say you were married to Nicole Kidman once.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, personal life, he's made some interesting decisions.
But I mean, as far as actors go, I don't care about your personal life.
Oh yeah, well I mean we'll yell at you
Yeah.
about it for sure. Like I mean, like, if you're Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie or George Clooney, we'll just.
Oh yeah, I hate you people.
Yeah.
Fucking savages. What was that one called? I don't know. It was terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, Tom Cruise is the man. He's dyslexic. He can't fucking read.
Yeah.
Like he can't. Like when he gets a script, he gets it recorded. He has to listen to a script, and then that's how he memorizes his roles. That's how good Tom Cruise is.
Yeah. And like again, like so many just fucking classic timeless movies. Like I love the shit out of Risky Business still to this day.
Yeah.
I mean Rebecca De Hornay. Swing. God, that was a great reference. Nobody got probably. It's just a great movie. Like fucking
Wayne's World.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you get it, but
it's good stuff.
It's a fucking great movie. It's got one of the most iconic scenes in movie history where he slides over the floor, and then he spends the whole movie like hanging out with hookers, trying to do risky things. It's a great fucking movie. I also really like Days of Thunder. You know,
oh, how can you not like Days of Thunder?
I mean, the race cars. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cocktail and Days of Thunder are like the same movie in my mind. I don't know if that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, kind of,
because they're friends and they're rivals.
Yeah.
And then but that was what he was doing back then. He was making the same shit all the time.
For sure.
Like no, I mean, like I said, he's made 41 movies. Literally, I think there's only one of them that like no one talks about, which is Lions for Lambs, because it was a bad movie. It was a play.
Yeah.
It was a bad, but literally like every one of them. I mean, you can just run down the list. I mean, we talk about The Last Samurai all the time. Like Last Samurai came out 10 years ago. I actually watched it on television the other day. I actually think it's a good movie now.
Factoid, that's the last movie I saw with my father. We don't really get along at all. So, I mean...
And everything was perfect?
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a great movie. Like, I don't know. Like, I remember when it came out and I liked it, but I didn't think so much. And now it's been 10 years and I'm like, this movie's actually fucking badass.
Oh, I like it a lot because he's a fucking drunk. He's got a lot of inner demons and he finds peace in his foreign land. And he has this, what is that line he has where he's like, I recognize the magic of this place, but somehow it will always be obscure to me because he's not from there.
Yeah.
But it's helping him heal his heart and stuff.
Yeah.
And plus there's a lot of samurai shit, which is awesome, always.
And it's good samurai stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's the closest we get to, like, actual good samurai stuff. Because, even Kurosawa's stuff was, like, kind of low budget.
Sure.
So, like, this was just, like, tight-looking dope shit.
Yeah, they looked really good.
Whereas, like, 47 Ronin was not tight-look doping. It was not dope. That movie was bad.
It was the opposite of dope, everyone.
Yeah. In my opinion. We saw that movie together, didn't we?
On Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. Were we drunk? Probably not.
I was drunk.
I hated that movie.
I ate a lot of popcorn. I know you fell asleep. Before...
That's right.
I know. Can you imagine Jason just fucking snoring like a wildebeest to this movie theater on Christmas Day, and I'm just shoving him, just elbowing him to the side, like, wake up! I'm shit-faced, I'm probably dropping beer cans and stuff. But anyway, before we move on, I think my favorite Tom Cruise movie, though, just for nostalgia reasons, is probably Legend, one of his first ones.
That's an early one.
Yeah, like
It was before he was Tom Cruise. It was before he was, like, the superstar.
Yeah, I think he was still a teenager, or he was like at least he was a really young.
Well, it was right after. It says here it's after All the Right Moves and Risky Business.
Okay,
but he wasn't the superstar then. Like
no.
Those are like comedy movies. Like Legend is
just a goofy little like fantasy movie. Like
and
Tim Curry's the bad guy, which actually to this day is still some of the best monster makeup I've ever seen.
Oh,
like,
I mean Tim Curry
is the devil.
Yeah, Tim Curry is the devil is one of the greatest roles he ever had.
With the exception of like, Dunstan Checks In or whatever that orangutan movie was, Tim Curry is one of the most terrifying people in all of he was it for fuck's sake. You know how many nightmares Tim Curry gave me?
I mean he's fucking
right?
Frankenfurter.
Yeah, God, he was so fucking scary. And then it's got the chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off in it.
Let's be perfectly honest, he's the first transvestite that we all probably know.
That's very true. Yeah.
Like if we were growing up and we were sheltered, like all white people are.
He's the transsexual.
Like the first time we saw Rocky Horror Picture Show on VH1, we're like, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. You're like, that's Tim Curry. I'm like, that's Tim Curry. Get the fuck out of here. That little pudgy fat guy from Clue.
Right.
No, like And then you kind of like, why am I getting aroused every time I see him singing? He's like,
I don't know. I don't get aroused when I see Tim Curry. I get terrified and I want to hide.
yeah.
Like to this day, like when I lock up the
I
bar.
didn't know it was it. I'll just leave it at that.
When I lock up the bar at night, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm walking to my bike or my car, I still wonder if Tim Curry's waiting in the parking lot for me.
Yeah, in a little clown suit.
Yeah, he's gonna come out and he's gonna pull like a shank out of his mouth and just like pop me in the kidney a couple times and then rape me, and then leave me there to die. Anyway, but I don't know
he
why
made a Muppet movie, just to be perfectly clear.
I know, but he's still terrifying. But anyway, the point is like Tim Curry's the bad guy. It's got the chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, whatever her fucking name is.
Oh yeah.
And like it's just all these fucking famous midget actors like Billy Barty, and it's just a really good looking movie. They run around all these little fantasy sets and they fight trolls and
they do awesome
monsters and shit. It's a great fucking little fantasy movie for kids, even though it's actually like an 80s movie, so it's really kind of intense for kids, but like that's just how we grew up because we're not pussies.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Well, yeah, it's a fantasy movie. It doesn't make any sense. But whatever. Tom Cruise goes and saves the princess from the devil. It's pretty standard.
God, yeah. Tom Cruise is amazing. That's all I'm going to say. I mean,
trapped in the closet.
I mean, just to run down, like, Born on the 4th of July. I haven't even talked about Jerry Maguire.
Well, yeah.
Jerry Maguire is an automatic watch. Like, if I'm watching television...
I showed your mom the money, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Boom.
Help me help you.
Yeah.
All right? Help me help you. Help me help you.
And on that note, I think we're done with Jason and Andrew like stuff.
Yeah, we don't like anything anymore. I'm looking at a Undertaker statue in here. And
don't even talk to me about that. All right, so moving on, we actually got questions this week for a change, and both of them are from James, Superstar Starring from the Mega Power Hour podcast.
Yeah, the Mega Power Hour is a podcast on Buzzsprout as well.
If you haven't listened, I'd give it a go. It's pretty entertaining.
They talk about wrestling and sports, and they say they can talk about politics and religion, but as soon as you ask them a question about that, I'm sure it involves, like, Republicans, guns, and Jesus.
Well, I mean, it's just because Buck talks like his jaw is swinging.
That's true. I mean...
It's all, like, Buck is almost unlistenable, too, but Jamie's actually got some important things to say.
Yeah, Jamie is he's on top of things.
Yeah.
He's topical. So he sent us some questions. He has two. I actually have one that I'm just going to spring on Andrew when we get there, but, let's do it.
Okay, so the first question goes to Jason. Jamie would like to know, what comic book story would you like to see adapted to film, and who would you want to write and direct it? And don't say Daredevil, because I know you just want to...
I'm going to say Daredevil, but I'm going to say other things, too.
I know you want to bang Ben Affleck. I know you do.
Just because it baffles doesn't mean... Anyways, all right. We're just talking about directors.
All right. Get after it. I'm going to take a nap while you talk.
All right, so these two are going to be very easy. I'm doing Marvel and DC. It's as simple as you need to do Born Again, Daredevil storyline, which they're actually, they were going to be making into a movie. I don't think it's going to happen anymore, but Born Again is a fucking incredible story about Matt Murdock. People find out his identity. Kingpin finds out his identity. And, like, there's a big throwdown about using it against him. But it was written by Frank Miller. It's actually, Frank Miller did a historic run, and then he left, and then he came back, and he did Born Again. Born Again, at the very end, involves a fight with a guy named U.S. Patriot, it's U.S. Patriot and Captain America and Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen. It is a fucking fantastic throwdown. If that was on cinema, you would all shit yourselves. But it'd have to be directed by Frank Miller and written by Frank Miller, and it would be in Frank Miller style. It would be the most unbelievable shit you would ever see.
What if they threw in a little Robert Rodriguez, like in Sin City?
He could probably do a couple points in it. It has to be, like, I love the spirit. Like, I actually hated it at first. I like it a lot more now.
I might need to revisit that one, because I remember also hating the spirit.
Yeah, well, I loved Sam Jackson in it.
Well, I mean,
runny eggs.
We do see Sam Jackson in a Nazi uniform in front of a giant swastika. So
ScarJo's in that, too.
Yeah, I mean, she can do whatever she wants. I don't care.
She was in Chef, and I was, like, getting a stiffy.
Yeah,
anyways...
I got one right now, thanks for that.
Just thinking about ScarJo.
Yeah, which is good, because I'm going to need to rub it on your face later when you fantasize about Spielberg and maybe Frank Miller kissing. Okay.
That's one story.
Okay.
Second story.
I
think I've said this. Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. Easy.
Right.
After, I'm not just going to say everything by Frank Miller, because, Frank Miller's, it's easy because he's a fucking director. He knows how to make movies.
Sure. But for the record, Jason only likes 2 things.
That's true. That's my Marvel DC likes, and that's what I'd like to see put on film before I die.
Okay.
The rest of it can go in a lot of directions. As far as story wise goes, I'd still love to see Why the Last Man, which is that's a comic book.
That's actually a great comic. I like that one a lot.
I don't know how you would do it in a movie because it would have to be a longer series.
An HBO miniseries.
Yeah, it might basically turn it or a miniseries or a series on HBO.
Right.
But man, that's just the whole story as a whole is really good. And Brian K. Vaughan could probably write that. The director for Why the Last Man could really be anybody hip. Like, I don't really have a good director for it.
You just want Zack Snyder to do it.
Don't want Zack Snyder to do it. There's not really a lot of action in it. Like, it's like a human story.
You don't just like gratuitous slow motion?
I mean, there's women who cut off one of their breasts and they call themselves Amazons. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Her name is Hero. It's his sister. Yeah, it's great.
I know. It's unbelievable in this story. But, God, yeah. I mean, like, Cramming Crow could probably do something cool like that. He's probably a little too old for it now. See, here's the thing. All the good directors are getting old. Well, like, the Coen brothers are old as shit. Like, me and Kevin were talking about how we were watching Raising Arizona the other day. They're fucking 60.
It's amazing.
They're dead. Like, they're basically dead in 5 years. Like, we're never going to have a Coen Brothers movie.
I mean, to be fair, Jason, you and I are both basically dead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 30... we both have more gray hair than,
anyone.
Yeah. So, I think that answers that question.
Okay.
Jamie will probably be upset because I mentioned things that are good.
Oh, well.
And I didn't mention things that are bad. So...
You heard it here first. Only liking things that are good. Oh, man.
All right, what do you got? What was your question? It's a good one.
Yeah, all right.
I'll let you read it out loud.
I'm just going to summarize it because it's a long question. So Jamie, being one of my best friends and knowing how my brain works and is being also a son of a bitch, proposed this question to me where I'm on a plane and the plane crashes and I get stranded on a desert island or something like that. And the only thing I can salvage is a Blu-ray player and a television that's awesome and then 3 movies. The 3 movies include Avatar, Aaron Brockovich, and Return of the Jedi. Now, the premise for after this is that I'm about to die because I'm bad at stuff and can't, find an acorn or kill a fish or something. So I'm going to die. And before I die, I get to pick one of these movies to watch. Now, then, of course, there's an extra stipulation where him knowing me so well, I immediately pick Return of the Jedi. But that one's fucked up, I guess, and I can't watch it, leaving me with 2 choices, Aaron Brockovich and Avatar.
I mean, how... whatever. Somehow there's a scratch on the DVD.
Yeah. It got scratched in the plane crash.
First off, how angry are you when this happens? Do you smite all things? Like, do you just look at the skies and the heavens and go, I hate thee? Like, you turn into Khan?
I mean, I might curse the sky, but then again, I might not. Because, see, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm probably going to die in the plane crash, but then I'm not surprised when I live. And I'm just stuck. And I don't have a volleyball either. I can't talk to Wilson. The only person I can talk to is my wiener, and he never listens to me anyway.
I can't believe you don't have a volleyball.
So here's the thing. This is why Jamie is a hilarious son of a bitch, because Avatar is one of my least favorite movies ever.
Right.
I fucking hate that
movie. You don't
movie.
like that movie.
I fucking hate Avatar for reasons we don't need to talk about because we're running out of time. But I also hate the fuck out of Aaron Brockovich because of the whole, Hollywood making movies about true stories that exploit people's actual turmoil to make money, like cancer. Like, when we all get uppity about cancer and you make a fucking movie about how sad cancer is so people go get guilty and buy it, like, it just makes me furious. And I hate fucking Horseface, whatever her name is.
Yeah, you hate Julia Roberts
for
some
reason.
reason.
I don't like her. Whatever. So, you win, James. I'm going to have to pick Avatar only because I would have an easier time wanking one out before I die to fucking blue-ass Natiri than I would to fucking Julia Roberts' just gross mom tits.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that.
Because, you can touch your wiener to that tight blue business. I don't care what you say.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, though, like Julia Roberts in 1990 or year 2000 is not Julia Roberts of 1988 Pretty Woman.
She's definitely not Pretty Woman.
She's not. She's just not there. Whereas Natiri, I mean, that girl
She's a computer-animated black girl with blue fur. Like, that's unbeatable.
In like multiple movies now.
Yeah.
Like after Guardians of the Galaxy comes out.
Yeah.
And she's not gonna have a shirt on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fully expecting William Shatner to drop out of the ceiling of their ship in Guardians of the Galaxy and just fuck the shit out of Gamora.
I'm into that, actually. That's a movie that I would like to see.
Yeah, that would be unbelievable.
I actually want William Shatner to just drop out of the ceiling at any given moment and fuck anyone, really, and just let me watch. But anyway, which is also a funny side note about hot blue business, because, you know, we also have fucking Jennifer Lawrence and then Rebecca Romaine Stamos or whatever in blue Mystique makeup. And then there was that one blue chick with big boobs on Farscape. Like, there's a lot of hot blue girls in science fiction.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Like, the list just goes on and on. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna pick Avatar, god damn it, so I can just wank one out to blue shit before I die. Because fuck Julia Roberts and cancer. When really I could have just wanked one out to fucking Return of the Jedi. You know, Carrie Fisher would have done me fine in my last moments. Jason's on his phone. He stopped listening.
I'm actually trying to find these surprise questions.
Oh, there's a surprise question, so I just have to keep talking, even though my
just keep doing that, or talk about something real quick.
Talk
I'm almost
about
there.
Something
Here we are. All right.
Okay. Surprise question I did not know about.
There's two of them.
Two of them, Jesus. All right.
Okay. These are both from James Starring. And first off,
here's
what you got to keep in mind. If I get a question on my cell phone, Jamie was drunk at the time.
Okay.
And I'm going to read this.
All right. Again, for the record, I have never heard these questions before.
My new question for the podcast is, did Professor Xavier's dream, in the end, parentheses, his past to our present in the realm, did he have to die to make peace as Dr. King did? Dead serious question. Fuck y'all's cast if you don't answer it.
Oh, actually, I think I might have been near Blacked Out Jamie when you said
you
that
had
text
to have
message.
been.
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me. But of course, I was also fucking shit-faced.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say Dr. King had to die. I think he was murdered.
Right. I think things would have been all right if Dr. King... First off, Professor X never died.
Well, yeah.
He's dead in the comics now, but that's because Cyclops killed him. Because Cyclops had the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force is a fucker.
Yeah.
So... And guess what? When he died, it didn't change anything in the world. Like,
what I will say, I guess, like Dr. King being assassinated definitely martyred him, and you know. So I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. Like, everybody that's ever born is going to hear about Martin Luther King, and they're going to appreciate stuff that happened. But I mean, I still think like if he had lived, like everything probably would have just worked out.
Do you think we would have had a day off in the month of January? Probably Professor
not.
X.
For a live black man, no. For a dead black man, yes. For Professor X, I don't know.
Right. I mean, at least he was white.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
We're actually
British,
not racist.
though.
We're not doing a very good job of assuring our listeners that we're not real racist people.
Yeah, I feel like I do that every time I'm on here. I don't know why people would even think that. All right. So that was that question.
So I mean, I would apply that immediately to that. Like, I don't think he would have to die, but I mean, certainly being murdered and martyred makes your fucking shit immortal. You know.
Right. What I know is that in the comic books right now, Professor X is dead, and it hasn't changed anything. Like, everybody still hates mutants.
Yeah.
And so I don't think if that happened, like the metaphor of the Dr. King Magneto, what Jamie's getting at here is there's this metaphor, and Andrew loves metaphors.
I don't even know what that word means.
Is Professor X is Dr. King, and Magneto is Malcolm X.
Which actually makes perfect sense.
Which made perfect sense in the 60s. Now, I'm pretty sure Stan Lee didn't actually think about that, because Stan Lee is just a money-grubbing Jew.
Well, yeah.
I got another question.
Oh, okay.
From,
it's the other question.
Oh, never mind.
The phone's just going off.
Yeah, Jamie's ending our show, basically.
Nice.
So, but, anyways, so that whole bit, that's what he's getting at. That metaphor has been kicked around.
Sure.
So, if Professor X died authentically, like a human killed him,
right?
Like a Homo sapien, not a Homo superior.
Sure.
Then you have a whole nother thing of what that would look like, but that's never happened because the only time Professor X dies in the comic, he has died multiple times. It's never been a Homo sapien.
Right.
Because how can a Homo sapien kill Professor X?
Right.
So I don't think it would help anything.
No.
I don't think anything would change. So, good try, Jamie. I don't know what that question was a reference to. You were drunk at the time.
I mean, it was a good question.
We got a name for Jamie's character in my D&D game.
Nice.
The last question was a comment mostly, but I went off on it in my mind.
Okay. Well.
And it was about Terminator 2.
Great action movie.
My God, Jason.
Oh, God.
Terminator 2 is the greatest action movie ever made. Name another.
I mean, I would actually agree with Jamie. It might arguably be the best action movie ever made.
Yeah. I disagree.
Okay, well, what would you say then to...
Well, I'm going to write down some stuff that I wrote. I'm going to read what I wrote down here. I said T2 is okay. Now, I need to defend this real quick.
Oh, God.
Terminator 2 came out when I was like 11 years old. It was a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 is a long movie. Like, it's like Mary Poppins long.
I mean, it's
especially if you watch the current version of it.
It's like 2 hours. You can get through a 2 hour
It's
movie.
like a 3-hour movie. Like, with the new added footage of just, them sitting in the desert. It's like, let me repair you, and, like, they repair his back or his eye.
I mean, I like that stuff, though.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's like, that's not an action. Like, there's 3 action sequences in Terminator 2.
Well,
There's literally 3.
That's why I like it. I think that's the point Jamie's making, is that, like, there's actually plenty of crap blowing up, but, like, there's a lot of good character stuff where it's not just some straw dude blowing shit up for 2 hours, like in a Michael Bay flick.
But that's... Oh, see, this is where I beg to differ with everything that's being said right now in life.
I don't know if we have enough
If
time.
a movie's an action movie, there's a lot of action in it.
Okay, so you're just nitpicking, like, the term we're using here, is what you're doing.
Well, I mean... You're trying to say... If you're saying the 3 action sequences that are in Terminator 2 make it the greatest action movie of all time...
No, I'm not saying that's why that's the greatest action movie. So you're going to say Terminator 2 isn't a traditional action movie?
No, it is an action movie.
Okay.
But it's not the greatest action movie.
So what's the greatest action movie?
I mean, I have a whole list of them. Like, I have a lot of movies that I like more as an action movie.
Okay.
Like, it's a sci-fi movie as well.
Okay, well, rattle some off before we run out of time here.
All right.
Jesus.
Matrix.
Okay.
Easily.
Sure.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's actually why I watched it the other day.
Right.
Because, see, in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, every action sequence means something.
Okay.
It's a metaphor, which I know you hate.
God.
I even wrote down, well, Die Hard, obviously.
Sure.
Die Hard's usually like anytime somebody says the greatest action movie ever made.
I mean, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there might not be character growth in that movie.
No.
But it's awesome.
But I mean, it's got, Carlo Winslow in it. Or
300 is a great action movie.
Okay.
Indiana Jones, every Indiana Jones movie.
Okay.
Take or leave the 4th one. Saving Private Ryan is a great action movie. That only has like 2 or 3 sequences.
Jesus Christ.
That might be a stretch.
I mean, you're going to get Spielberg's wiener. Don't worry, bud.
Demolition Man.
Okay, I do like Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition Man's an incredible action movie.
All right. God, how many things you got on this list?
I even wrote down The Bourne Identity.
Here's all I have to say to you is that there's...
Bourne Identity is a very influential action film.
Sure. We're running out of time. Here's all I got to say to you is, I know now why you cry. I did something I can never do. Enough said. Terminator 2 fucking rules.
It's a good movie.
Thanks for tuning in this week, guys. We're going to have a bonus episode up right after this one for your enjoyment about 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, we're finally doing our long overdue Oscar thing. Please tell your friends about this. Go to Buzzsprout, our website. You can actually download.
You can download each episode as an MP3 off the website. So if you can actually find it via our link on Facebook, give it a shot. And also, please, somebody besides James Starring, maybe consider submitting a question for us to talk about. But we did good today talking about stuff.
Yeah, we did a very good job. We're proud of ourselves. More proud than you could possibly imagine.
Right. Anyway, now I'm going to fap one out to Spielberg, face fucking Jason. My name's Andrew.
My name is Jason.
This has been End of the World Movie Reviews on Edge of Tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.